Hey, welcome back to Dare Twin Flame. It is Wednesday night, and yeah, it's been a day. It's been a good day, actually. Sort of. Well, no, it's always a good day, but um, what did I do? Went to Goderich today to pick up some sunscreen because there's one store that has a sunscreen. We can't find it anywhere else. It's the only sunscreen that works on my ladybug girl without her swelling up or having a reaction of some kind or another. So we drove all the way to Goderich, and the lesson in that was call before you drive because they don't sell it anymore. So now we're trying to figure out where to get this sunscreen because it's the only thing she can use and they don't sell it. And then I had to grapple with the concept that I drove all the way there and for no reason. So then I had to relook at it and say, where was my reason for needing to make this drive? And I ended up settling on the fact that I got to spend that time with my ladybug because she was the only one that came with. So we had a bit of a dance party. So it's not a total loss. It is what it is. And yeah, so then did a turn south and came back over and went to Exeter to see my grandma and sold her one of my paintings. It's funny, the painting that I showed you earlier, that this is the way I have it now and I've added this on digitally and I want to do it to the painting. She likes it with the animals on it, but she doesn't want it for her house, and she's probably right. I put it up. No, she's right. We talked about it, and for the space she wants it in, without the animals is better, just color wise. Otherwise, it would be too dark. So we're leaving it as is and just gonna varnish it so it's protected and take it back to her. But sold a painting, so that's good. And it's not a complete loss because I don't know, I think I got the best of both worlds. I sold painting the way where the buyer wants it, but I also get the digital print that I can print and mount the way I want it. So yay, win-win. Then we came home, dropped off the ladybug, and headed over to your sister's for an amazing Reiki treatment, which I desperately needed because the last few days have been quite the roller coaster. So yeah, but it was awesome. It was awesome. So and I had a nice visit with her, so that was cool. So why am I recording today? I'm recording today to continue on with the Shamanism Summit. And again, just like last time, I don't know what it's going to bring or why I need to say it, but I will just repeat or just read off the highlights that I wrote down, or the quotes or whatever it is that I saved, and see where it leads with the conversation. Oh, and it's really awkward. I'll show you why it's awkward. First of all, I'm on my swing in the backyard, so it moves all the time. But I also have where are you, buddy boy, sitting on my lap, and he's so too big for the space. Sorry for the I can't even see. There's my notebook. Where are you? Other way. There you are. He's so too big for the space. But yeah. So I'm trying to hold my book and the iPad and read and not swing around and make you sick, and try to keep myself in the camera frame, which apparently I can't do either. Sorry. I'm feeling much better. Life is good. What can I say? Life is good. So I'm going to fold my book over, break it more than I already have, because the one thing about journaling, at least for me, is that my journal comes everywhere with me and it gets the hell beat out of it. It is so broken. And it's such a... Oh, I know what I wanted to share with you. It's such a nice book, and I keep meaning to read it to you because it's got a nice Be bold, take risks, live life freely, lead by example, trust your gut, say what you feel, mean what you say, express gratitude, believe in your power, exceed your expectations, dance the night away, skip down the street, don't take no for an answer, be your best self, don't look back. It's awesome. It's a constant reminder to just be in a better frame of mind, really. Oh, look. Holy cow. What was that air going? Somebody in our house is laughing hysterically. I don't know if you could hear it or not. She's been watching YouTube videos all day while I've been away, and she's addicted to these random YouTube channel that, I don't know, just, it's funny. It is a funny channel, but, get off your computer, do something else. Okay, so where was I? Next speaker. I'm going to be looking down because I can't do this, and I can't do, well, maybe I can. I will try to look up. The next speaker was all about kindness and compassion, and the key ideas to consider are, while you're facing challenges in your world, or even just walking through your world, whatever your path leads to, am I in my heart right now, or am I in my head? And to know what's true, you have to be in your heart. So if you're thinking with your head, then that's ego, which I've talked a lot about in the past. But it's really hard to remind yourself to stop, and when you're in those moments that need to be looked at, big decisions, or even not big decisions, just regular conversations. Am I saying these words because my ego is directing me to? Oh my gosh, dog just moved. Now I'm swingy. Or am I saying these words because they are my truth and they come from my heart? Which was kind of, again, the conversation I had with my son on Sunday was, okay, the first words I said, they were true, but I didn't need to say them because they weren't coming from my heart. They were coming from my frustration, which comes from ego. So they weren't coming from love, which, yeah. Can't read. Let's see. I don't know how to do this without swinging myself all the way around. All right. How do I bring love through my words and through my actions and presence? You don't change by being what you're not, but by being what you are. So when you actually are what you are, rather than being what you should be, or that what you want to be, or by being what people think you should be, or or if you're being what you think society thinks you should be, then you're not walking a true path. But if you're actually being what you are meant to be, and letting everything else be as it is, without focusing on how we think it should be, that's when we own it. That's how we own our truth. And then if we own it in the present, the conditions will become ripe for potential in the future. I don't know if any of that made sense, because I was reading nonsense and trying to put it into so basically, if you're always walking a path that you are a person that you think you need to be, or you think society wants you to be, or what you would rather be, if you're always not just being in your truth, being who you actually are and being good with it, then you're not actually meeting that full potential for the full potential future future goals, for making that future ripe of potential, something like that. And this is gibberish. I'm sorry. It's been trying to go through these notes and put it all into it. They've been such big ideas. There's so much to them. It's hard to just simplify it down and say, yeah, this is it. So yeah, be who we actually are and be good with that, and be good with that truth will lead to ripen the potential for future you. But if you're always wearing a mask of who you think you should be, or what society thinks you should be, or who you would rather be, then you aren't creating the environment that will lead to your most potential future. Yeah, something like that. Okay. This was another speaker who talked about judgment, and basically said, when you stop pretending to be what others think you should be and find your true path, those who are supposed to will join you. Don't be a supporting role in someone else's life, be your own lead. So it feeds back, like I said, a lot of the speakers, they really melded together. So this is the same thing. Stop pretending what to be what others think you should be or society thinks you should be, and just find your true path. And then if you do find that true path, then the people who are the tribe that are meant to be with you, the people who are meant to walk that path with you, will join in that collaboration, and to always know that you are the lead in your life. You are not to be a supporting role for anybody. So there's that. The addiction of suffering. So I didn't write a lot down on this one. I'm just trying to recall what I said. I just wrote down the quotes, addiction to suffering. So we have a habit in society of always needing to be the victim, because we don't, people just don't like to own their shit, honestly. It always has to be somebody else's somebody else's fault, or something else's fault why they are suffering, instead of stepping back, owning their part of it, and learning the lesson to move on. And we have as a society, we have an addiction to that suffering, because it's easier to play victim than it is to do the work to be better. So when you do that work, the next one, the next statement was, or next point that I wrote, and I'm sure there was a big jump in here, but when you get to the station of healed, only then can you truly help others heal, because you aren't bringing your own traumas to the table. Or not only that, you're not bringing your own traumas to the table, but you're also able to see how your traumas weren't necessarily traumas but lessons, and how you can switch your thinking and change them from traumas to lessons, and ultimately the reward that you get from learning those lessons. So when you reach this level of healed, you love and joy and happiness without agenda or need, because you don't need to strike out at anybody else to find joy or happiness within you, because you can look at any situation, good or bad, and find the joy and happiness within it. It's a really freeing stage to get to, when you can look at a situation and say, well, first of all, it allows forgiveness, which is huge, because the forgiveness frees you, not the person you're forgiving, because most times they don't even care that they've hurt you or caused you this trauma. So forgiving them releases that from you. Sidebar, sorry. Parasite. If a parasite is ourself created by a wounded mind that got fed by ego and validation to the ego, mask of being built to get validation from the outside. Need to protect ourselves from ourselves, remove judgment. Yeah, so again, when we sit in these feelings of needing to cause retribution or payback or hate towards others, or I've been wounded, that victim mentality, that all feeds ego, and ego ultimately just perpetuates itself. It when you okay, so you go, you're the victim, and everybody's like, oh, that's too bad, you don't deserve that, you're, you know, oh, poor you. First of all, it's ego playing the victim. But then when you get that reward of, oh, poor you, and oh, how hard done by, or oh, you should be angry, or oh, you should be, you should fight back, or whatever it looks like, it's validating the ego, which in turn feeds the ego, which in turn creates this cycle, which allows, it creates this false narrative in our head that makes us happy because other people can see our wounds, and therefore we've been validated, and that's feeding that parasite that is ego. So we need to actually protect ourselves from ourselves, and remove judgment on all situations. So if you need to be able to step back and see any situation, pick one, and say, recognize it for what it is, recognize it for the lesson that is there, and then move through it. And when you move through it, whatever it looks like, it that's when you find the joy, that's when you find the happiness, because it's come from within rather than looking for outside sources to build you up. So it's this is an be skeptical but learn to listen. We have to keep our awareness, but don't believe the old wounds. So we can look back to the past and say their truth was not truth because we've achieved awareness. Don't believe anything. So how do I say this? This has come up a lot for me over the last little while, because how do I say this? You can look back at any situation and I can say this was the truth in that moment, but it is no longer the truth now, because now I have more awareness to look back and say this isn't, I can see a bigger picture. It's like seeing a puzzle and seeing this much of it, and in that much of a space it's a picture of a dog, and you say, oh, it's a puzzle of a dog, and I'm saying, no, it's not a puzzle of a dog, it's a puzzle of I don't know, pick something, a photograph of a girl wearing a skirt that has a dog on it. Does that make sense? So the truth in that moment in the past was that the puzzle was of the dog, because that's what we could see. But when you've been removed from it and you can look back and acquire more information around it, you can say, oh, wait, I see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that it's a girl dancing, and on her dress is a dog. So the puzzle is of the girl in the dress. So it's, don't believe everything, even if you're here and you're seeing it in this is what I'm experiencing, therefore it is my truth. Yes, absolutely, it is your truth now, but that doesn't mean it is the complete truth, which is, again, really hard to wrap your mind around because it's such a big concept. So when it comes to traumas, this same idea, we pick up, you have a trauma, you were stuck in that story that isn't even real, not really. So you can't hold judgment around it. You can't hold judgment to others. You can't hold judgment on yourself. You can't hold judgments on the situation as a whole. And so we have to let ourselves, forgive the others involved, so that we can in turn heal. And then once we've healed, we can look back and see the bigger picture and what maybe what the universe was trying to show us, how we needed to have this presented to us to learn this to come to the place that we're at now. Everything in my life has, I can go back to all the things bad that have happened in my world, and I could write great stories and great soap operas and whatever. But now I look at them and say, if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened, which in turn wouldn't have let this happen, and then so on and so forth. So I forgive myself for reacting in whatever way I reacted at the time, but now I'm grateful for that moment. And I'm not angry about it, and I'm not judgmental on those involved, and everything for a reason. And yeah, so there's that. And loving yourselves and showing kindness and compassion to ourselves is the key. So the next part was just kind of like a ceremony to help ourselves do that, like find that forgiveness. So it's kind of like a ceremony or a meditation of sorts, and basically you find a space or a place to be your authentic self, and then you basically say these things: I forgive you, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. So the idea is you pull up whatever situation comes forward that's a situation that needs to be addressed in your ceremony or your meditation, whatever it looks like. You basically say, I forgive you, please forgive me for whatever emotions or whatever relationship we had in that together. I love you, because again, that's the gratitude for the lesson that person provided. And then thank you. I love you because love heals all. And then thank you because you have to show gratitude for the lesson. What's a good one? Trying to give an example that really stands out. So I was in a car accident in Chatham, and at the time I was furious. I was furious because I watched before this person hit me, I watched him go through another intersection in the exact same manner that if he had paid attention and learned the lesson in that one, he wouldn't have hit me. So I felt that he wronged me, not purposely me, but he caused harm to somebody else because he wasn't willing to learn or smarten up in his driving from the first opportunity that he was given to learn. So I was really angry, and I was angry because he really had no damage, and I was inconvenienced with the amount of damage that was caused to my vehicle. Also because my girls were in the car, and he really showed no concern whatsoever. And I just thought, there was a whole bunch of victim mentality feelings wrapped up in it. And so it's one of the things that, now I look back and go, why was I so invested in that anger? Why was I so invested in that hurt? Why was I so and the situation went on. There was like more to it, but just taking this ceremony type thing and saying, I forgive this driver for what happened. I don't think he purposely hit me, so there's really no reason. And he probably doesn't even remember me. So I forgive him for, the situation that we found ourselves in, the relationship that was created by him hitting me. Forgive me for having this anger for whatever reason, or because it's not his fault that I went to these emotions of anger. It's hard to explain. Anyway, I love you for letting me have this opportunity to grow, because looking back, I can grow from that. And then thank you. Um, it's just, this ceremony is a way to let go of the toxic situation that's holding us back from moving forward, because we tend to and I did the same thing with my dad when I confront, like, I had to have this front face to face with him to say, you know, this is how I felt, and I don't feel this anymore, so I'm forgiving you. I forgive me for holding you in this regard for so long. I do love you, and thank you for the lessons that you've offered up in my life to allow me to grow. And it's a whole different world with my dad. No, I don't have a great relationship with him, but I don't have a bad relationship with him. It's just it's we can function in our worlds. He doesn't have that power to hurt me anymore, and I don't have a need to strike out or avoid or avoid. That would be my biggest one. I just didn't want to have anything to do with him. The whole idea of seeing him tied me up in knots, and it really doesn't anymore, because he doesn't have that power over me to feel like a victim. I've released that. Those emotions. Ba-dum-da-dum. Let's see, we're getting long again. So I'm just gonna give you one more. So let me see, where's this go for? I'll leave part of this. I'll give you one more ceremony before I shut up for the night. Basically, it's really important, and one of the key things to just check in with the universe every once in a while is to do what this speaker was talking about as a cosmic check-in, and it's a written exercise where you just basically write I am, and whatever comes out comes out. I am happy, I am angry, I am whatever, I am, I am having chicken for dinner, I am like whatever I am, and you just write until you don't know what to write, and then you say I feel whatever, hick it, I feel tired, I feel drained, I feel content, I feel happy, I feel relieved, I feel hopeful, whatever, right, until you have whatever you need. And then I trust, I trust that this is where I'm supposed to be. I trust that this situation happened for a reason. I trust in myself right now, or I trust that what I heard is true, or I trust. And basically you just write those three: I am, I feel, and I trust. And they actually end up morphing. So at the start, they're very tangible things. They're things that, people get, I trust that my truck will get me to work. I trust that my dog will need to be walked twice a day. I trust in those things because I know without question that they will happen. And then as you get more comfortable and you're checking in, you get more in tune with the universe as a whole. Different things will come up, and you'll find the words changing. I find that when I do my gratitude journal, when I started off, it was like, I'm grateful for the groceries in our fridge. I'm grateful for, the bills being paid. I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. I'm grateful to have healthy children. I picked the real top end, easy to come. And then as my gratitude journal has grown, I'm grateful for this memory because I learned this lesson. I'm great, and really go deep with the gratitude to find those truths. And I will leave it at that because, good time to do those cosmic check-ins. You don't have to do them every day. Good time to do them is on the full moon and on the new moon. just because the energy in those times are, you know, they're full of potential. So, on that note, that's done. So, and I'm not sure what your week has looked like, but I learned something new this time. Apparently, my clips are limited to 30 minutes. So I've gone way too long and my machine is cutting me off. So I will leave it at that. Yeah, this week it was a new moon. It was a big new moon. Lots of just really, really big, lots of shifting going on, and I felt it physically, I felt it mentally. That's why I went to see your sister today, because I was just couldn't keep my feet from stopping the car sick, the nausea of the waving of the energy. I was getting pretty car sick. So but I hope you're surviving it well, and yeah, until next time, dear twin flame, you are loved and you are missed, and you have all my love for all my life.